Okay, we're going to be working on thought projection. Let me see if Daniel's going to be available. But thought projection is quite simply what we all do every day. Most of us do it on an unconscious level. But this is a very important part of one's training, is to be able to learn how to consciously do it. Hello, Mr. Daniel. Would you like to run out here with me for a little bit?
Totally, I was just thinking about that, 'cause it's so beautiful.
It is. It is. Okay, so as I've spoken about before, thoughts are extremely powerful because they are electrical currents. Okay, they start from neuron to neuron, and things are transferred in electrochemical fashion. Okay, so from one neuron to the next, synaptic charge is born, and one can either act upon a thought, or one can ignore that thought, in which case that thought either is enacted upon and becomes action, becomes something that becomes tangible and real, or it's discarded, but either way it's still an electrical current, one of which existed, right? It starts basically as a thought within your mind. Okay, so most of us know at this point, who've actually been practicing this and who have been getting results, that it all starts with you going out there and actually engaging. Okay, so that's thought oriented right off the bat. Another thought projection, something that came real. I was over at my place and I was like, I'm going to go over and talk to Daniel, and we're going to do this video on called thought projection, and here we are now. Let's go down this way. So what you want to get good at is the quality of your thought projections in the first place, and to remember that every single thought that goes out is having an effect on something, someone. Wouldn't you say that is the truth?
Yep. You might not be able to see it, but it's happening.
It's happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right over here. And so I'm just projecting an area right now where I want energy to swell up at. Not here, but a little bit beyond here. And lo and behold, so there it goes. This is a matter of thought projection. You can hear it all picking up now. And voila, thought projection. Okay. One of the reasons why, and take a look behind us. Nada. It truly is right here in the predetermined area of which I pointed out. We walk over here, and as you saw, it picked up. And right now, the relative speed's going down, but it could be very easy to trigger, and this will carry through. So, why do you want to get good at thought projections? Well, it's just like anything else when in terms of practice. The more that you can actually pre-plan and know that what you're going to do is going to have an effect, okay, that demonstrates the fact that your connection is strong enough to where not only is the pre-planning perfect, especially just walking up on it, the amount of energy that you were wanting to work with is right there, and everything happens when you say it. And so, number one, if you're going to work with other people and you're going to teach them, and you're able to sit and pre-plan and show what it is that you're trying to accomplish beforehand, and you walk up and you do it, well, that kind of takes the argument out of anything that they could present against you. So it's always good to have 100% control of your own energy signature to know what it's going to do. So that is part of the thought projection process. Without it, you will find, and this thought projections work extremely well with intentions. Now, I just did another video of intentions, but when you really learn how to combine the both of them in a very effective manner, you're going to find that your results energetically are going to do nothing but increase. So, Now, in terms of thought projections, there's ways, of course, to project more energy at certain spots than others. Remember that you're not trying to force this. It's not something you can force, is it? Do you think?
Nope.
You can practice it.
Forcing it will basically be null and void of results, because it's the complete opposite of what we're wanting to do.
Yes, we're more of a flow. We either create the flow,
Like the water.
or we just flow with what's already there and increase the flow. And typically, that's where you're going to get the best results. And look at the sun coming out like a magician. Wow. You haven't seen him all day. Look at that.
I've seen it for like a week.
So, anyhow,
Like a magician.
yep, just boom, there he is. So, or she, whatever, doesn't matter, no gender. Big, huge sphere of light, trying to genderize that. Nonetheless, thought projections. And now, given the idea that the sun is out, much of our thoughts are enhanced, much of our thoughts are influenced by solar weather, lunar weather, cosmic weather. So keep all of those things in mind. If you can keep a strong vibration and keep yourself fixated upon love, you pretty much have no problems. Now, for the most part, I realize that it's hard for a person to constantly live in the vibration of love. There's always something that's working against that. However, if you take away the idea that something could work against it, then it doesn't matter how much that something tries to put their influence out there, you will walk right through it. Okay? There's always things out there that will challenge us, but once you get extremely good at being able to project what your mind, what your spirit, and what your soul knows is possible. Okay, once you get really good at that, you'll find that your connection will increase exponentially just by exercising that alone. And thought process or thought projection could be something just as easy as I told you before, is pointing in an area and go, okay, that area is going to go off when I walk up to it. Or it could be as simple as, I'd like to see a bird come up to this particular tree. Or let's say there's a bird or there's a squirrel in the area. You could thought project out to it and, you know, say hello to it in your head. See what it does. Okay? Don't try to control the movements or actions of other beings, though. You can try communication. Okay? You can try making suggestions and asking it, hey, in your mind, would you like to come over here and hang out with me? Send that sort of a thought projection, but don't try to tell it, come over here. Don't try to control its actions, because you would not like it if something were to try to do that with you. All the animals down here, all of the plants, everything is sentient. Everything deserves the respect of being alive. Therefore, we do not impede upon the free will of anything ever. So this is the reason why you use things such as that, you know, animals and whatnot. Don't try to do it with people, because the fact of the matter is, we do that on a conscious level enough anyway. There's people out there who just sit and think bad thoughts about other people. There's people who think good thoughts. There's people who think weird thoughts. You need to learn to control your own mind and what's going on in your mind when you are connecting with other people. I've used this whole example before, which is you can be sitting in a crowded room, and for whatever reason, you'll decide to look at one particular person. Who knows why you decide to look at that person, but you do. And then now that entire crowded room, guess what happens? That person feels you looking at them, and they turn around and then they make direct eye contact with you. And I know this has happened with almost anybody out here who is watching this now. The reason why such things would happen is because you are projecting your thought energy towards that person. That person picks up on it just like a receiver, especially when it's directed. So really, you want to have a clean mind, a clean heart, and a clean soul when embarking upon this. It's the reason why we went through the ego section. But now we're consciously learning thought projection. along with observation, it's one of the single most powerful ways of really, I don't know, connecting, wiring in to certain things. You know, keep in mind that this is a matrix, and so the more you concentrate and you focus upon something, the more you bring that to you by default. Got anything you want to say?
Nope. I'm looking at a cute dog down there.
Hey, that is a cute dog. It's a little pug. There he is.
Here's another one.
This is an interesting perspective now. We walk this area all the time. So anyway, there's other ways that you can practice thought projections. You can practice with your friends, like decks of cards, right? Give them a deck of cards and really practice this. Have your friend look at the deck of cards and then have them project that into your head and see if you as a receiver can pick it up. There's all sorts of ways to practice it.
Numbers.
Or numbers.
Like if I have a number in my head projected to, say, Michael or whoever, see if they receive it. It doesn't even have to be physical.
That's right. And other ways that you can do it, which a lot of people would just say it's guessing, but not really, is take that same deck of cards, put your hand, shuffle them, and then put your hand over the top of the card, and then try to absorb what you see or what is on the other side of that card. Because again, no matter what, you're projecting and receiving. So that's a way of testing your own ability to receive energy and receive correct information. So this, by the way, thought projection is massive in everything that we do. Even though I have not really brought it up yet, this is kind of something because it really works on a very conscious level, and you have to have a clean conscience to do it and to do it well. Otherwise, you will trip yourself up inevitably trying to use it on people, and especially if you're trying to do it for negative purposes or you're trying to do it for self-serving purposes. And this is why I'm telling you that thought projection requires a person who is responsible. Hence, one of the reasons why this is one of the things taught in the later chapters. So right now we are in chapter 6. And the first one that we did were called intentions. Okay, and now we're doing thought projections. So, what would you have in terms of advice for people who are going to start learning with this?
Your negative patterns, pay attention to them, see what they manifest, because they are already manifesting things.
That's right.
I'm 31 years old. There's things I've been doing for 31 years. Most of my life. There's things that you've done for all of your lives. And if you are on this path, then it's time to stop those, obviously. Once you become conscious of it and you start rewiring your brain and start doing different actions, you'll start to see your external world shift as well. Because what you focus on has changed.
And
So
let's get over here. Vehicle.
So just pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to what you focused on in the first place. And ask yourself if it's higher vibrational or lower vibrational. And if it's lower vibrational, it's probably a good time to start getting it out of your system, getting it out of your mind. You watch horror films or whatever, or things like that. Stop watching those, because each thing we see goes into our mind, into our subconscious, and can be used against us at a later point if our mind is not strong enough to override it.
Not clean enough to know the difference.
Exactly.
Another thing that I want you guys to do is when you are practicing mind projection and thought projection is I want you to also take down results. So for instance, if you send out a thought, okay, first you want to, make a comment. Did something happen in the environment as a result of this particular thought? Did you hear a horn honk? Did you hear something machine-like in the environment? Did you hear, or did you feel the environment pick up with energy? Or did you feel the environment collapse down with energy? Okay, so any sort of result that you get, even if it's internal, you should record and document it.
That's what I was going to say.
Yep.
If it's internal, that's also another signal. So all possible signals or all signals that are coming in, either internal or external, should be noted. It's information.
That's right. So it needs to be documented. You should film things as much as possible too, because there's going to be times when you go back and look at your film where you're going to notice things happening on the film that you probably didn't even notice while you were doing it. So you want to take note of every single bit of stimuli that occurs as a result of something and to see if there are patterns within that.
It's 2:30.
Oh, yeah, it's 2:30. Okay, let's whip around and we'll go down here and then come back up. So this is Christmas Day, so we're working on Christmas.
Yep.
Doing this. I'm getting ready to go out and see my family. Daniel's coming.
We don't really celebrate holidays anyway.
Yeah, so
Birthdays are about the only thing we celebrate outside of just life in general.
yeah. So yeah, thought projection, very, very interesting stuff. Again, record your progress. You want to be able to see your progression from where you have started to where you end with things, if there is ever an ending. But I can tell you this, a video camera is more of a blessing than it is a curse. A lot of people at first start off fearing it, and believe me, I'd have the problems too, where I would go out and record, nothing would occur. And it, because of course this thing is on and I'm judging myself going, uh-oh. And it takes maybe sometimes a little bit to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's just like having a best friend around that you don't want to part with, because let me tell you something. There's nothing that sucks more than memories that you could have gotten on tape. Okay, because you always think to yourself, oh man, I wish I had the camera that day for this and that. And, boy, I did this one thing that was so cool, or my friend did this thing that was so cool, but,
Wish you had a camera.
Yep. Now, at this point, we're turning around here. Now at this point, now that I've got one, I would not want to be without one.
It's always with them.
That's right.
Something that I want to add as well is thought intentions, is pay attention to your dreams. Because your dreams also show what you focus on or what you're not letting go of. And it also can show you what's manifesting in your own, in your awake life.
That's right.
So it's also a good idea to pay attention to your dreams, pay attention to patterns, as well as the focal points of your dreams, because you will notice patterns. If you start writing your dreams down, you'll start to see themes, maybe specific characters.
We'll let this car pass by.
Since a dream state is also a reality that we live in, we might as well be as aware in our dreams as we are here.
That's right.
And sometimes we're more aware in our dreams than we are here. So we can pull that into this reality as well. That will help with the intentions and thought forms.
I can tell you this, the more aware you are in dreams, the more aware you are here. The more aware you are here, the more it carries over into your dreams. Practice it heartily and heavily. That's what I would say. And again, thought projections is where a lot of learning how to, well, A, you're bringing your creativity into the 3 dimensions that we're in. Okay, and then you're learning how to create on metaphysical scales as opposed to just physical scales. And so this is where essentially your creativity meets reality. And how well you thought project, both inward and outward, is going to be how successful you are in really learning to develop systems. Takes a lot of it takes knowledge of true matrices and mathematics, and other parts of it is complete and total creativity. This is where right brain meets left brain to bring about an amazing physical / metaphysical result, which occurs right here and everyone can experience it. Okay, this is exactly what self-mastery is about, is the merging of all of those aspects to come out with one cohesive entity, which is yourself. One entity which has learned to fuse all information and use it in a positive, loving manner that helps to evolve yourself and your surroundings. That's what I have to say about that. Oh, we got people coming.